Welcome to Web210. The purpose of this video is just to kind of navigate you through the course in Blackboard to let you understand what all the different areas mean. First off, in the top, in the Getting Started area, I have some Getting Started videos. One is this video, of course, and the other one is just a video on how to use a code renderer, which most of you know how to do from Web110. The second part is a course orientation, just kind of is a general orientation for the course. And then you come down there, you have a syllabus and schedule link. And when you click into that link, you're going to have the schedule. That's the entire semester schedule. And that is also linked on every single learning module. So you always have access to that schedule. I do advise that you check it often just to make sure you're on track with everything. The second thing is the syllabus. This is information and policies that are specific to this course. It's very important that you read the syllabus. And the WCC resources are various links to the resources here at WCC. I also have another link to VS Code videos, and that stands for Visual Studio Code. You don't have to use this, but it's a really good text editor, and I made a lot of videos to show you some of the things that you can use in VS Code that make your coding a heck of a lot easier. So I include those videos. Again, it's optional. You don't have to use VS Code if you don't want to, but I want to provide the videos. I use it. It's very powerful, and it's free, so kind of win that way. For communication, there's announcements, and I send out announcements a lot in this class just to tell you what's coming on or when the next go-to meeting is going to be scheduled or whatever. So announcements I use quite often. The instructor information is there for the instructor of this course. It may be me, it may be somebody else. Your success coach, this is an important one. If you have any obstacles or you're having some problems with just getting through college courses, not necessarily something that you need to talk to me about, but something just, how do I navigate Blackboard, or I'm having an issue with this or that. The Success Coach is a good way to do it. There's a form there, just a link to a form, I should say, and you can contact them and they can help you through things. And online meetings. I do schedule online meetings. That's just a little bit of information on how to sign up. And then, of course, every online meeting that I schedule, I will give you the information for when it's going to be and obviously how to sign up. And I do record those meetings. And as we get into the course, I'll show you where I put those. The online meetings, I usually try to do them once a week. It all depends on how many people attend to them. They're optional. I don't require you to make them, but they're really a good way to talk to me one-on-one. Email's okay, but a lot of times you just do it online meetings, and a lot of students will come in with a list of questions in the online meetings, and they ask a whole bunch of stuff. We have good conversations, and then what happens is I record them, and other students can see it later and learn from it. So it works out pretty good. And then, of course, email. Email is the primary way you're going to get a hold of me in this class. It's going to be through email, so definitely going to be using that. The next area is course materials, and when you go inside of that, you're going to have your learning modules. And inside of each learning module, you're going to have an overview of what you're going to cover for that module. Each module is 1 week. There's 15 modules for 15 weeks, and so that overview will be what you're going to be learning for that week. You also have a link to the schedule. Every single module has a link to the same schedule. It's just a quick, easy way to get to that particular schedule. You have some readings to do, and they're all going to be links in that module that you can link off to and read. It's a web page you'll be reading. You may or may not have some custom videos that I've created for this course that you will be watching. You will have some lynda.com, I call them lynda.com/LinkedIn Learning, where they're going through a process right now where LinkedIn they've acquired lynda.com, and now they're making it all LinkedIn Learning. So at this point in time, we're kind of in that transition, but by the time you end up taking this course, it's probably all going to be LinkedIn Learning. But just so you know, it's the same thing as what lynda.com was. And so anyway, you're going to have some of those videos there, and some of the modules have a long list of videos. I just want to make it clear that these videos aren't very long. They're usually like maybe 1, 2, I think the longest one might be 7, 8 minutes, something like that. So even though it looks like a long list, it's really only going to be like maybe an hour, 45 minutes, something like that, to watch them all. So they're not really that as overwhelming as they appear. A couple of the modules are going to have some quizzes in them, so just look for those. And they're also, of course, listed on the schedule. And then you have, in some modules, you're going to have a main project. And the main projects are usually the projects that take more than a week to do. The first project that I do assign, that's a main project. That's only 1 week because it's an evaluation project. But pretty much the main projects are about 2 weeks or more to do. Then there's also these little mini projects, and those only take 1 week. And you're only going to have those given in a few modules. So you won't have those every single week, and you'll know that again. You can as you go through the module, you'll see what projects are due, and you can also see it on the schedule. And so the mini projects are basically week-long projects, and they're designed to just be kind of shorter, a little bit more to the point of something, and they're to be done in a week. You have some discussions. You have one in the beginning, one at the end. The one in the beginning is very important to do because that's what does your attendance. And again, you're going to see that in the opening orientation. So that's pretty much how what's in your learning modules. So remember that not every learning module is going to have custom videos. Not every learning module is going to have quizzes or mini projects or main projects. They're going to probably have one or the other, but they won't have both. And not every module is going to have a discussion. So just kind of keep that in mind. The next link that you have is to the project sample page, and that's basically how I want you to set all your projects up. So what you're going to do on the server is you're going to have a page, and you can make it look any way you want or not styled at all, but whatever you do, it has to be professional. And what's going to happen is you're going to have a link to each project or mini project. And so when I go into this project page, I can click on a link and see all the material that I want to see, via some other links. So that project sample page is really good because it shows you how to set all that up. It's really actually very easy. And then, of course, the code render application, which if any of you were in my 110 class where I had that, basically what it is it's an application that allows you to enter HTML and CSS and see the output in real time. And, of course, in the Getting Started videos, I have a video on how to use that particular application. The only thing I want to caution you is the code render application is a great tool for doing very small snippets of code, but not a very good tool for doing your entire project in. Sometimes students think, oh, I'll do my entire homework project or whatever in the code render application. It's not designed to do that. That will not be a good idea. It's designed just to experiment with very little stuff. So that's it for the course materials section. Graded activities. Well, obviously all your projects are graded, but we don't link them off as graded activities. And the reason is because it's kind of hard for Blackboard to figure out and to make it simple as to what's due in a learning module, what's due in a graded activity. So we took those out. All the projects are listed inside the modules and when they're due, and they're on the schedule. So the only graded activities that are shown here are the discussion boards, and they're also linked off the learning modules. And you're only going to see the first one, and then you won't see the last one until it actually opens up. So this isn't really that important of a link, but it's just to explain what it is. Now, this is very important. How to be successful in this class. Do not procrastinate on any of this stuff. Okay, you cannot do these the day before or the night before it's due. It won't work that way. Guarantee it's a recipe for failure. Okay, you need to schedule time throughout the week to be able to do all the coursework. That includes reading, watching material, and doing the projects. I would suggest you plan on at least 16 hours per week. Some students have to do more. Sometimes they're up to 20, 21. That's fine. These projects that you have to do are not like the WEB210 projects. They're a lot more complicated, and there's a lot more that goes into them. So you're going to have to give yourself a lot more time. It's not going to be like WEB210 where they're, kind of, at least in my WEB210 class, where it's kind of like a little paint by number type thing where I kind of told you what I wanted you to do. Now it's going to be like, hey, build this, and you have to figure out the best way to build it based upon, of course, the techniques you've learned. Okay, so it's going to be very much on you to figure out how things go. It doesn't mean that you can't ask me questions. It doesn't mean that you can't have discussions and go to meetings. It's just that you need to make sure that you have the proper time. Okay, stay on top of things. Check that schedule often. Make sure you know what's going on. Okay, I suggest you have everything done 40 hours before it's actually due. That is a really smart thing to do. At least 24 hours before it's actually due. And the reason is because I have all these students who try to submit everything at the last possible second, and then Blackboard times out, and then all of a sudden, oh, I couldn't, I tried to do it, but Blackboard timed out, and I couldn't get it in, blah, blah, blah. Well, sorry, it's a 0. It did not get submitted. Or I have students who, oh, my internet went down, for the last 2 hours. Well, if you would have had it done beforehand, and your internet went down, 48 hours before, you'd have 2 days or 48 hours to figure out what you're going to do, which basically internet's everywhere. You could just go somewhere else and get onto their Wi-Fi system and upload content. So stay on top of things. Don't procrastinate this stuff. And it's the number one reason why students do poorly in this class is they procrastinate too much. Read all the lessons, watch all the videos. It's very simple to look at this, especially there's a lot of videos to watch. And it's very simple to say, oh, I'll skim through them or I won't watch them at all. Then you really need to ask yourself why you're here. Okay, because the videos and the lessons, all that material is really important. It's the only way you're really going to understand this stuff is to actually watch it and actually absorb it. Okay, you got to remember, you're not in class, sitting in a classroom anymore. You're at home, and you can watch this time on your own leisure, but you still have to put in the time. It doesn't matter whether it's in the classroom or at home, you still have to put in the time. So it's very important that you do this stuff. Also, study and recreate the examples. A lot of times I have tons of examples throughout this course on how to do things, and students a lot of times just kind of skim over it or they don't read it at all. They won't study it, and they surely won't even recreate it. They won't rebuild it. And rebuilding it actually helps you a lot. Even though the solution's right there, just to have to rebuild it makes a big difference. It kind of helps get your mind and what you're thinking about doing to your hands to actually do it. That's a way of thinking about it. And really studying what the examples are doing. Again, a lot of students don't look at them at all, or they skim it, and then they get lost. They get completely lost. And they ask me questions, and it's like, okay, that answer was right there in that example. I mean, it was literally like almost copy-paste, but they're not looking at it. So please, remember, you are still committed to a 4-hour block of time of what would be considered classroom time, not to mention homework time. And so you have to think about it. You're not sitting in a classroom for 4 hours, so you still have to do this work as if you were in a classroom. And it's going to be more than 4 hours, obviously, because we count homework time into that too. Also, ask questions on what you don't understand. If you don't understand something, ask questions. And please, attend to go-to meetings. I try to make them pretty flexible where, they're usually at night and they're usually on a weekday night or something where most people are going to be around. I understand I can't, grab everybody, but the thing is ask questions. So the go-to meetings are the best way to ask questions because you have a direct, conversation with the instructor. Email is the second best. Definitely, if you have a question, ask me on email, and we can get through it. So, please, these are really, really important. I did my master's degree online through Boston University, and it was accelerated 7-week courses or 7-week classes. And I tell you, it was rough. It was, you really had to stay on your game because they basically would just run you right over if you didn't. So do the same thing in this class. Don't procrastinate. Really, stay in your game and really do a good job, and you'll do fine. And it actually won't be that bad. Okay. All right, and that is pretty much it. So welcome to WEB210, and I look forward to you having a good semester.